Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. And all the Hakim out there that are pushing his truth with nothing but sincerity in the name of Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Started off from the tribe of Judah all the way down to Issachar. So with that, I wanted to speak upon Genesis 2 and 21, right? Because you see a lot of people think that when they said the Most High put him asleep, though, that he literal took a rib out of him and closed him up, closed his flesh up like surgery type, you know, like the Most High did that to him, though, you know, and coming into this truth, though, everything makes sense, though, because you would think literal, like the Most High put him asleep, which is pretty much, and then he cut him up, though, and things like that, man. Took out one of his ribs, though. Well, let's read it, though, right? Genesis 2 and 21, going down to 24. And the Lord, so this is the Yahweh, God, caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And 22, and the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman, and he brought her into the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. See? So his rib, right? He said he took out one of his ribs, but that's actually talking about a relative, though, and closed up the flesh instead thereof. So, and it says, in the rib which the Lord had taken from man made he a woman and brought her into the man. Yeah. So the rib just means someone that's related to him, though, because it says, and closed up the flesh, and what I'm saying, though, they had sex. And Adam said, This is now my bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called a woman. But the thing about it, though, is it says she shall be called a woman, and because she was taken out of man. But he says, This is now my bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, though. That's talking about, being a close relative, though. So let's look into the blue letter, Genesis 21. And then let's look into the word flesh, right? It says, look at D. It says kindred, blood relations. See? That's all it means, though, man. Related, someone related, though. So he didn't literally took, out of the Adam's rib, though. It was just like someone that, was close related to him, though, and that was it. Because she became a woman, because look at it. And Adam said, This is now my bone, my flesh, and my flesh, though. She should be called a woman, which just means servant, because she was taken out of man. And therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Yeah, because when people join together and have sex, though, people have sex, though, it reconciles, though, That's why, that's the thing, though, right? So therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. So let's get into more, talking about flesh, my bones, all right? So let's look at Judges 9 and 1. It says, And Abimelech, the son of Jerubbaal, went to Shechem and to his mother's brethren, and communed with them, and with all the family of the house of his mother's father, saying, Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all men, Shechem, whether it be better for you, either that all the sons of Jerubbaal, which are 70,000, reign over you, or that one reign over you. Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh. See? And his mother's brethren spake of him in the ears of all the men of Shechem, and all these words, and their hearts inclined to follow Amalek, for they said, He is our brother. Exactly, see? Because he said, Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh. Remember, I'm related to you, though, So you see? So let's look into another one, right? Second Samuel. So this is when they killed the son of Saul. Well, it was two they controlled two. It was two of them, right? They chopped his head off and they brought it to David, though, King David, though, because remember it was the house of Saul and the house of David, though. But the two that each of them had a band, though. You know what I mean? Like army, though. And so they cut the I forgot his son's name, though. They cut his head off, though, right? So when then they came over and they told him like, okay, so you're gonna be king over us, King David, Israel, though, being right. You know what I mean? So this is Second Samuel 5:1, and I read to 3. Then came all the tribes of Israel to David and to Hebron, and spake, saying, Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh, because Israel and Judah, they had pretty much the beef though going on though, because it started off with the servants though, David and the son of Saul, you know, and well, of course it wasn't Jonathan, because Jonathan died with the same day that King Saul died, though. King Saul pretty much killed himself. But so that's the thing, because it says, "We are thy bone and flesh." Though tribes of Israel to Hebron speaks, and behold, we are your flesh and bone. Time passed when Saul was king over us. Thou was he that leadest out and brought us in Israel. And the Lord said to thee, Thou shalt feed my people Israel, and thou shalt be a captain over Israel. So all the elders of Israel came to the king to Hebron, and King David made a league with them in Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed King David king over Israel. See? But it says, but the main point is verse 1 though, says, Behold, they are their bone. Behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh. That means they're related to him though, because they're a big family though. You see? So that whole surgical thing of cutting Adam and taking one of his rib out, and then he's like, no, man, like that bone and flesh though, that means she was someone that's related though, because you're a woman though, you have woman, you call her, that's my rib right there, that means you guys are like close, that's my rib, you know. So it just means that though, it ain't think that the Most High put his ass asleep, Adam sleep, which is Yahweh Shai, and and he um and he surgically cut his open though, and took his rib out and made a woman. Nah. This is the book of Genesis 29:12 to 14. And Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. It says, and Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father. And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him, brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things. And Laban said to him, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with them in the space of a month, though. So he was there with them with a month, though. But you see, it says Jacob told Rachel he was her father's brother. See? It says it came to pass that Laban heard tidings of Jacob, his sister's son. He ran to meet him and he embraced him, brought him to the house and told him about all these things, saying, Surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And abide. See, so the close relative though, man. They're related though. It says, Laban said unto Jacob, Because thou art my brother, and shouldest thou therefore serve me for naught? Tell me, what shall thy wages be? So that's when he made the deal of he'll work for him to get a daughter though, to get one of his daughters. Or it was Leah, it was tender eyed, but Rachel's beautiful and well favored. But he wanted Rachel though. Yeah. You see? So all that bone and flesh though, that's all it means though, is just someone that was related to him though. So ain't nothing more and nothing less to that though. Like I said though, it was like they think literally like, oh, he came out of him. Like no, she was just someone that was pretty much close related to him. That's it though. You gotta understand, back then things were different though. Well, like with Jacob though. So that's just the thing about it though, man. Back then, not saying all of them were getting with the cousins and things like that, but I mean, it was a thing though. Not a thing though, but it was just something that they were doing though. But that's just the thing about it though. So So, this is what it means though. Someone that's related though, like I said, from Israel telling King David, you're gonna reign over us because, I mean, we are related to you though. We're kindreds, we come from the same kindreds though. So with that, hopefully brothers will edify. Until the next one I say, Shalom.